Well, hello, everyone. Peter Dennis here. Today, my guest is Meaghan Rose. Meaghan lives in North Carolina, US of A, and she channels a couple of individuals. One is named Rose, the other is Balsam. And today we're going to find out a little bit more about these two entities. But Meaghan, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Oh, thank you, Peter. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited.
Yeah, well, you're very welcome. And you'll notice I didn't introduce you at any length. So I'm going to ask you to just fill us in on a little of your background, just how you grew up and maybe jobs you've had, things like that. But go ahead.
Absolutely. Thank you. So I grew up in Syracuse, New York. It was very cold, and eventually I wanted to get away from the winters. And ultimately moved to the West Coast for grad school. I studied sustainable enterprise, which I think was kind of the foundation of my spiritual journey. Well, I had one experience before that, but I learned so much, and I still to this day take pieces from that, which most people wouldn't think you would get from an MBA. But from there, I worked in resource conservation, sustainability, energy efficiency, doing program work in California for California's first community choice aggregator. From there, I got burnt out. We had all government funding and it made it really hard. So then I did what I said I would never do, and I worked in tech for a little while.
Mm,
And that was a whole nother experience that I also got burnt out from. But all of that, I think, allowed me to figure out that I needed to live differently. I needed a new way of living. And through sound healing, I found Reiki, I found shamanic energy medicine, I found cacao, and I found you for channeling. Um, and right now I'm actually studying herbalism. And yeah, like all those past experiences don't even feel a part of me anymore.
it's interesting that here are two MBAs
Yeah.
who are going down their spiritual paths.
Yeah.
You don't find that very often. It's a bit unusual, but yeah, interesting. Now, since you've been channeling, I'm sure many changes have transpired for you. Tell us a little about that.
Yeah. Wow, that's a big question. I would say the most important thing is I just feel more connected to everything around me, like whether it be physical, nature, spiritual, energetic. And I feel actually I feel less alone
Mhm.
in a way, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Um, yeah, I feel like a part of something so much more that maybe I don't always understand, but when I'm like struggling in those like deep moments or those dark moments, I'll feel like an energy or a presence or I don't know, something synchronistic will happen and it brings me back into myself, into the moment. But also I want to know more. Like, I just have this like desire to like see more, know more, and spirit only gives us little bites at a time so that we can stay present and anchored for our purpose on earth.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, obviously, you've got a great level of curiosity. To get an MBA, you probably wanted to know much more about business. Um, Now, the audience may not know this, but in my latest book, you channeled the consciousness of trees for me. And you mentioned you feel more connected, closer to nature, things like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure you
Yeah,
do.
absolutely. That was such a beautiful experience, and I was nervous, but I spent a lot of time connecting with the trees leading up to that than I had since leaving the West Coast. I think, yeah, living out on the West Coast, there's just tons of natural beauty and hiking, and I spent a lot of time with redwoods, and it was a huge part of my healing journey. Um, and the first time that I could feel like energy outside of myself. And it took a long time to like truly understand that. But the trees had been speaking to me for a long time in hindsight and kind of guided me, from California to Washington and um, let me know when it was time to keep moving and try something different. I ended up um, in the South Carolina at the beach, realizing that it wasn't necessarily the place for me. And now I'm back up in the mountains in the Asheville area with the trees again.
Mm, yeah, no, the trees are amazing. Just incredible. That the article that came from that channeling is very eye-opening. I think our science is beginning to understand that, yeah, trees connect with each other. They send nutrients to an injured tree and things like that. That's just the very surface of what trees are all about.
It's so true. Through my we were actually on a plant walk through my herbal school program I think it was last week or maybe 2 weeks ago. And the botanist leading it, was talking about how the trees communicate and the spores and the nutrient. And I was just like, you know, like a little extra validation if I needed it.
Yeah. Well, Megan, you channeled that I'm familiar with anyway, Balsam and Rose. Do you have
Yeah.
any sense of who might come through today?
I feel them both, and Balsam does like to connect, but I feel Rose has been a little bit more present lately. So I'm thinking that it might be, her, and by her I mean a more feminine energy versus a more masculine energy as Balsam shows up.
Yeah, interesting. Well, good. Why don't you go ahead and bring in whoever, I guess, grabs the mic from the other side.
Hello, Peter. It's
Hello.
that time.
Is this Rose?
This is Rose. It's nice to see you.
Yes, and with Megan's eyes open, you can see me literally. Uh, Interesting. I thought you were present. There was a smile starting to creep across Megan's face, and I thought, yeah, I think that's Rose. Yeah,
Yes.
good. Well, thank you for being here. This is wonderful. Rose, you probably know what we're doing here. We're recording this as a video, and we're hoping that a large audience will see this. Would you be good enough to fill us in a little bit on just who you are and whether you're part of a group or collective or kind of working as a lone wolf here?
Yes, yes. I I am Rose, and I am not fully part of a collective, as you say, nor am I fully part of a lone wolf. I think you might say a connector or not a collector, maybe more of a collaborator. I like to find and weave the energies together to help support the human experience, the earth school, as sometimes we refer to it. I like to understand all of the beings so that we may all work collectively to support all of you humans having this experience, this challenge of
Mhm.
learning to become yourselves, learning to become one, learning to evolve into the next version of the human species, learning to reconnect with your, mm, maybe you'd call it hybrid DNA, the light, the star seeds, the light being DNA that you all carry within you once it starts to awaken. And I support that.
Hmm. That opens a number of questions for me, but before getting to them, I want to get a little more about you. Uh, you're not physical, is that the case?
No, I am what you might call ethereal. I float on light. I float on the air. I just move through electrical currents. I just am.
That is not easy for humans to understand, but you're probably familiar with the, uh, I guess, system of categorizing levels of consciousness that we humans use. And I'm wondering if you could identify the level of consciousness that you are.
Hmm. Yes, I've actually fluctuate through consciousness based on the human I'm connecting with so that they're more able to connect with me and my energy. But if I had to put a label on it, I believe you use numbers.
Mhm.
So currently, I would say my vibration is a state of um, seventh dimensional,
Okay.
but I work between the fifth and the seventh. May
Mhm.
grow later. What is time? I
Mhm.
may continue to evolve as well.
Sure. Are you channeling currently through other humans?
Not currently at this time.
Mm. Now, have you been with Rose before? I'm sorry, with Meaghan. I'm sorry, you are Rose. Have you been with Meaghan perhaps in other lifetimes?
I have, yes, many lifetimes ago.
What capacity sort of thing? Were you healers or what?
Mm, yes, yes. We were ancient priestesses mm, who learned the ways of the earth, the goddesses. We learned the light ways to help balance the divine masculine and the divine feminine before what you might call the patriarchy fully took root.
That's interesting. You project as having female energy. Am I correct?
Yes,
And
divine.
yet you are this spiritual or etheric being who has no physicality. When we think of masculine or feminine, we usually think of a human male or a human female. Is there a difference in ethereal beings like yourself
Mm,
that you could describe as a function of gender?
mm, no, not gender as humans understand gender. It's more a sentiment, if I describe it in ways that humans might understand. It's more an essence. It's more a way of being. It's a part of a whole. So let me see if I can find more descriptive words. Mm. The feminine is more light, is more love. The masculine is more safety, protection, caring, more strength, where the feminine is more mm, thoughtful and this word finesse is coming
Mhm.
to my, not mind, to her mind.
Well, in terms of masculine and feminine, how do you see humanity generally now?
Mm, yes. Oh, what an interesting state. So the masculine tends, mm, there's no, it's not hard and fast. In some instances, we see the human masculinity taking, it's kind of spilling over the edges, as you might say, where it's not in its true state of power, its true state of essence. It's become diluted, it's become calcified. There
Mm,
are mm, I don't want to say toxins, but that might be a word for humans to visualize. And it's
mm,
not toxins, it's particles, it's energy that is too dense. It's not at the right vibration. So the masculine is in need of healing. And the same goes for the feminine in a lot of cases. And as both continue to evolve through the work humanity is doing in this earth experiment, they weave together they weave together as they heal one another, balance one another, and become full strength. And that's within full strength, full, they become the true essence of a beautiful, balanced existence, whether it be physical or spiritual or energetic.
mm, mm. If I understand what you have just said, that the planet may be, let's, might be fair to say, is dominated by the masculine energy, but that is in some way being compromised or lessened, and the divine feminine is becoming more to the forefront, stronger, and both are kind of working towards a balance where
Mm.
humans will be maybe not equal, but certainly more in balance with the two. Am I kind of on the right track here?
Yes, yes. I think what came to mind as you were clarifying was like a pendulum or a spectrum, and both the feminine and masculine are beginning to move towards one another, towards each other, but also finding their space. And then they begin to weave. And so instead of a spectrum, it just becomes a whole that
Hmm.
weaves and winds and binds. And this word equal, I struggle with.
Mhm.
Everything in essence is equal because everything in essence is one. It's all source, and it's the human, I don't know this word, affliction, mm, the human journey to bring all of those pieces of self to the surface.
Mhm. Is it fair to say that you are here to assist in this coming together?
Yes, yes. Mm, my assignment, if you will, is to work to show the beauty, the power, the strength, the softness, the healing aspects of the feminine as it is balanced with the masculine. what we see so often in humanity is the separation of the two. And as individual humans become more themselves, more heart aligned, more connected to their essence, their soul's purpose for coming to Earth at this moment, as opposed to getting caught up in mm, the collective, the conditioning, the programming that happens within humanity. Mm, then, mm, then there is this wholeness, this oneness that tracks back to source and being. And that is the end goal. I think you say goal, the coming back to original existence where there is the beauty and the balance of both.
Mhm. Well, one way you are assisting to bring that balance about is you're working through Rose. I'm sorry, you're working through Meaghan.
We are working together
Mhm.
as one.
Yeah, what else are you doing in that regard?
Yes. So specifically, I work with Megan in a way she loves to be of service. She has a long mm, history, if you will, of being a healer, a caretaker, and I support that. I support her in a way that allows her to feel confident in the human form with the ego. And I also help her to channel
Mhm.
the energy that sometimes is beyond what she's capable of on her own. So, as she's working with new and different clients, I'm able to match the energy that she accesses, the vibrations that she needs, in order to channel that for others to access.
Mhm. From your perspective, viewing humanity,
Mm,
are we progressing reasonably well towards achieving that balance?
mm. That is a wonderful question. Uh, yes, the short answer, yes. However, when we take a step back and we look at the state of the world, the state of humanity, it can be, for a human, my understanding is very heartbreaking. It can be scary. It can seem, what is the word? That sense of helplessness for
Mhm.
humans, when in actuality, if humanity was able to widen the lens, see the bigger picture, then I don't know that humanity could understand. Some, yes, as the healing, the evolution, the intertwining continues, can understand that this is all part of the bigger picture, the process, and that all souls knew the lessons that they were coming to teach humanity, the world, people directly in their lives when they decided to enter human form during this moment, during their lifetime.
Mhm. Well, if many humans do not see the bigger picture,
Yeah.
what would you suggest if you had your coach's hat on here that they do to broaden their perspective and see the bigger picture?
Mm. I think the most important thing humans can do is to question everything, to
Mm,
question everything they know as a human, and then to look beneath that and question all the things that they might feel in their body, to have some truth to it, and
mhm,
allow those holes to, wiggle, infiltrate, open up more at the possibility of what they believe their reality is there's so much far beyond that. And so starting to allow for the space for the impossible to be possible, and letting go of what has been conditioned and programmed. That is the
mhm.
journey. That is the healing, the opportunity.
Yes, I've heard that message before that we humans are not very discerning. We're just too quick to accept the words of authority. And in many cases, they're not true. And if we can examine them and be discerning, we may discover, as I think you put it, just many more options that are available to us. And in that way, we can expand.
Yes.
Yeah, we have to wrap up here pretty soon, Rose. I'm wondering, is there any other message you might have for humanity if all of humanity were tuning in right now? What would you tell us?
Mm, love, love. Love is the highest vibration. Love yourselves, love each other. Mm. Love may also be the root cause of all pain, that original wound that humanity talks about sometimes. Great pain, great suffering stems from the loss of love, from the fear of the loss of love. And so, if you can see, try to see, maybe not with your human eyes, but your soul, your energetic body, your spiritual lens, that everything is about love and coming from love and viewing through love, you might be able to lessen that divide between the us and the them that humanity has created.
Mhm. From what you say and what others have said, I want to love more.
Mm.
However, I'm not sure quite how to do that. Any tips?
Mm. Yes. It is easier to say than to do. So just the willingness to want to is the first step. So first, be willing, be open, allow your mind to change. There's no weakness in that. But also know that love is holding someone else's thoughts, approach to life, beliefs, human life, of course, in same regard as your human experience. None is greater, none is lesser. And the more we understand that truly we are we, because we too, as energetic beings, all come from source energy, just as humans do, are one, and someone else's pain and suffering in human form is your pain and suffering in human form. And it's just the intent. It's intent. Intend to love more, intend to be more accepting, even when you don't understand. And
Yeah.
most importantly, you have to love yourself, all aspects of the human self. And I think perhaps that's where a lot of the struggle, the pain, and suffering come from at all levels in the human existence.
Yes. I've heard that before quite a few times, and from Jesus, actually. He said that was his number one teaching when he was on earth, love the self. because if you can't, you're not in any shape to love anybody else, really.
Exactly. Mm,
And yeah. Well, Rose, this has been wonderful. You've opened so many other avenues of inquiry here. And I'm going to ask you to do some videos a little bit later, and perhaps you can expand on some of these points
mm,
that humanity needs to hear. And but thank you very much for this today. Thanks for being here, and it's always a pleasure speaking with you. So I
mm.
wish you many blessings.
Mm, thank you, Peter. I look forward to our time in the future
Good.
soon.
Well,
Mm,
thank you and goodbye for now. And to the audience, thank you for tuning in and bye for now. And Megan, just take your time. Come on back.
mm. Hello.
Nicely done. I just realized I thank the audience for tuning in, and I usually do that after you and I have this little debrief. But anyway, how are you feeling?
Ooh, I'm feeling very energized. I definitely had like a vibrational alignment when I first called in spirit, called in Rose. Um, but I also, both Rose and Balsam were there, and I almost felt like they were um, vying, I won't say fighting, but vying for, front row. I did sense him there. I don't think he left, but he was, recognizing it wasn't his moment, which was nice, him. But yeah, I am feeling a little like jittery on the inside. My palms are a little sweaty, a little damp. Yeah, but I feel uh wonderful, just like wonderful. It's such a gift, and yeah, I'm always grateful.
Well, I'm glad you said that. I think a number of people wonder what is it like to channel. Some actually believe that it's draining and it's going to sap their energy and they're going to die young and that
Oh
sort of thing.
wow.
Yeah, so if you believe it, it's probably going to be true. But
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking is like, I guess the experience is what you think it might be, what your intention for it to be. I remember when I first started shamanic journeying on my healing, like on my healing path. I would have very intense, very painful healings. And my shaman, one would send archetypes to help, and that helped smooth things. But eventually she told me, it doesn't have to be painful. Why does healing have to be suffering? Why can't it be soft and soothing and white light and sparkly? And it took me a while, but I held on to that, and I was able to like even the darkest of things that I was working through bring that white light, that soothing healing. And you know, I realize it ties back to at least growing up for me, maybe you too. Like I played a lot of sports, and it was if it's not broken or bleeding, like you're fine, get back to it. Like suffering made you stronger, or whatever descriptor.
yeah, churches used to perpetuate that. And
Yes.
I think it was my dad or somebody said, look, there's no virtue in suffering. And
Yeah.
that's right.
But I think it takes a long time for us to really, I think we can understand it on an intellectual level, but then, you know, I mean, across space and time,
Yeah,
the stronger, more powerful person always seems to come out ahead. So,
yeah. Megan, if people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
yes. We can email me at hello@myaurasmoonstone.com. And my website is myaurasmoonstone.com.
Good. Well, I'll get that on the back of this video. And I want to thank you very much for this. Rose is a delight. You know,
Yeah.
if she were physical, she'd be in trouble, I think.
Her energy is so beautiful. It's like, yeah, I'm just like floating so high right now. My feet probably won't touch the ground the rest of the day.
Well, thanks very much for doing this. And
Yeah, thank
once again,
you.
to the audience, thank you for tuning in. There's many more of these coming, and we're going to do some videos shortly with Rose's messages. And she'll be more specific, I think. So,
Oh,
yeah. Well, bye for now. Until next time.
bye. Thank you.